Cosmic Sloth here. Welcome to my second video on Cyberpunk Red DLC. This video is going to be focused on this first block of information here. It's going to be focused on the character sheets. So as you can see, there are 7 links here, but there are a few repeating ones. As you can see, these each have 2 different versions. There's just the regular old PDF, which is going to be used for just like printing out using for pencil and paper, pen and paper. And then the second one is a form fillable version, which means that on the PC you can go ahead and click on, so I'll go to the first one, this character sheet. So if we go into this first one, this character sheet here, you can see that it has these boxes that you can just type information into. So you can go ahead and just type in, solo, combat awareness, rank 4 for a starting character, and it saves that in there. And then you can do the same for your skills, notes, all of this stuff, which makes it a great resource for if you need a character sheet on mobile. So that's pretty cool. And then this first one, as you can see, it has all of the skills listed out. It has space for your stats, all the information here. And then it has the second page, which has all of the sort of background information, has life path, and a little spot for any gear, ammunition, and cash that you have. And then some space for like fashion, housing, rent, and lifestyle. And then this third page, I think, is probably the coolest part of this character sheet. It's the cyberware sheet. So you have your little skeleton diagram here, and then it has the space for each of your foundational cyberware and any option slots that you want to add to it. And then it also has space for your cyberware options that don't require any foundational cyberware right there. So I think that's pretty neat for sure for this little character sheet here. And then we'll go on to the second one. That's going to be the data pack sheet. So it looks very similar to the first one, except as you can see, it's missing that third page with the cyberware. Instead, it just has this list right down the side here of cyberware. And then it also has space for your skills, but you have to write those in manually. And then second page is the life path information and then gear information again. So just a little bit more condensed version here. And then we'll take a look at the Edge Runners Folio character sheet. So this one is the most expansive. It's 11 pages. You can see it has this pretty cool art of Mike Pondsmith just looking rad as hell. That's pretty cool. And then it has space for all of the information again. A little space, you have your little portrait, stats, has space for quick attack references here, quick skill references here, and then it has some slots for your cyberware. It has, I think, like 10 slots, whereas the data pack has 9. And then it has a little spot for you to expand your attacks. It has a little quick reference point for all the brawling attacks and options you have when brawling, so that's pretty neat. Then it has space for you to put like any like weapons that you have, the DV range, and then all the information on those. It has like 5 slots for those, which is kind of nice. Then you have your gear, ammunition, housing, and lifestyle tables, space for cash, spot for improvement points. And then we have the really cool part of this character sheet is you have a vehicle sheet. So if you're starting out as a nomad, this is super useful. It has space for all the information on the vehicle, any like mounted weapons or things that you might add to it. And it also has this little table of upgrades, the available upgrades, and a spot to like mark off if you have installed them. So I think that's really cool, really useful for nomads, or I guess if you get your hands on a car earlier. And then it also has a Netrunner sheet too. So space for like a cyber deck. The slots on it has a spot to put in your programs, your black ice, and your hardware. So super useful if you're playing a Netrunner. And then below that you have the life path information. And then it ends with a quick reference point for like skills and different like rules. So I think that is pretty useful for sure. This one is good for newer players, I think, definitely. And then the final character sheet we're going to take a look at is the Mook sheet. So this one I think is primarily aimed for GMs. Um, so it's just a super small character sheet here with just like the information you'll need to like run an NPC basically. So you have a spot for your stats, your health stuff, a couple spots for weapons, armor, skill bases, and then cyberware. So, and you'll see this kind of format in a lot of the source books and stuff. Whenever they like talk about NPCs, this is kind of what it'll look like. It saves a lot of room and just gives you like what you need to run that NPC. I think that's pretty cool. And then there was a couple other things that I wanted to touch on this video. So if you go into the Artalsorian website, you go to their store, and under this partners and VTTS, you'll see that there's a Cyberpunk Red Nexus for Demiplane. So this is actually their official digital companion. And what it is a spot where you can have like your own character sheet. It has all of the information. You go to their library, you can expand all the information by in the source books. And then you can go into you can see the different rules where it has like information on corporations, the actual rules, has items, cyberware, basically anything you'll need to like run the game or play the game, you can find it on here. I think that's pretty cool. It works fairly well on mobile too. It's formatted pretty well. So using it on mobile or on PC, definitely a good recommendation. And then there was one other thing I wanted to highlight on too. It's nothing I'm affiliated with, but it's what myself and my players used when we first started playing, before Nexus was a thing. And that is the Cyberpunk Red companion app. So you see that there's a website for it, and then there's a mobile app as well. That's pretty useful. And then it's basically the same thing as the Nexus. You have a place to make a new characters. It has information on like the different items, gear, has information on like different like systems and things like that. So definitely pretty useful if you're playing online or on mobile. Again, but they're not like officially like part of our Talsori, and this is just a someone who is made this just for the passion of it and wanting to make a cool thing for the community. So I thought I'd shout that out because myself and my players used that when we first started, and it was definitely very helpful. So definitely a good thing to keep in mind. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. That's the character sheets. Thanks for watching, and hope you tune in for the next one.